Welcome back again. We do apologize for that abrupt break that we had to take. Of course, we were experiencing technical issues, but we're back with you right now on Pan African Morning. We are continuing with your news bulletin. Soccer star Thembinkosi Lodge has scored himself a 2,000 rand bail release after he was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend. That's an offside, Lodge. According to Nogupiwa Matitibela, Lodge beat her up and strangled her at his Midrand apartment after she questioned him where he has been for 6 hours. Provincial spokesperson Kay Makubele confirmed that a case against the sportsman has been opened and he was charged with assault with intent to cause bodily harm. Lodge is set to appear in court on the 8th of October. We'll get to see then if Lodge is going to be appearing on any of the games. Fortunately, the season is done, but there's still Nedbank, which I'm not sure if Parrot is still there. I think they're long gone. So he's going to have enough break to stay at home. Thembinkosi, quite a very talented guy. Now he's using his talent in a wrong way. We didn't know that he was a boxer also. He was a soccer star last time we checked. And now him doing what he's doing right now is totally unacceptable. And we hope that, the law will take its own course. And because another problem is that when you find these celebrities, sometimes their cases just go and be swept under the carpets, and we hope that Lodge will not rot in jail, for a couple of slaps or whatever that he has done, but he must go to jail and be punished for the crime that he has created, because it could have been worse. We're seeing gender-based violence every day. Women are being beaten and killed at the hands of those that loves them. So at this moment, really, to have people that our children are looking up to as their role models, doing what Lodge has done, it is totally, totally unacceptable. We hope that, he will face, his jail sentence, whatever it is. Even if it's 6 months, go there, stay there, relax, come out, and you'll be better. You'll be a better person from what you were. Now, moving on with our stories. The local school staffer and paramedics from Netcare 24 have saved the life of a baby boy. According to the Netcare 911 media liaison, Sean Herbst, they received a call from a resident in Denville Avenue in Durban North who reported that her domestic worker had gone into labor in the driveway just after 8 a.m. Herbst say that while medics rushed to the scene, they were informed that the baby had been delivered. However, he was barely breathing. The member from the nearby school, who was qualified as in first aid, had rushed over to help and had initiated bystander CPR. On arrival, paramedics found the baby unresponsive and gasping for air. Oh man! A full advanced life support resuscitation was initiated by the team of Netcare 911 emergency care practitioners, who battled to fully revive the 24-week premature baby, while en route the child's physical appearance and vital sign had improved to an acceptable standard. Both mom and the baby were safely handed over to the hospital staff. A very, very beautiful story in there to look into. These are the stories that really brighten up our day, stories that makes us smile, a story of life. It's just quite amazing that this baby was only 24 months out of, 24 weeks instead of 40 weeks. It's almost half of that, of those rather weeks that the baby's supposed to be in his or her mother's womb. And now he came out to be alive. A little fighter in there. Beautiful story. Would love to share some of those stories. If you do have some beautiful stories that you want to share with us, please do contact us on the Galaxy Universal Network through our social media platforms, and also you can get us on Twitter. It's Ghana_TV_ and as well as Instagram Ghana_TV. Would love to hear from you on what you get to see outside there. Beautiful stories that brings a smile on your face. Netso. Got it? Yep. Moving on with our stories. A class of matriculants have surprised, their fellow learner with a brand new phone and a matric jacket. Tazrik Davi is an only breadwinner at home and a full-time learner. He has robbed off, or rather he was robbed of his cell phone en route to work. Tazrik works on the weekends to provide for his family, and the video of the handing over of the cell phone touched the hearts of many South Africans who have started sending through donations right away, and their account with 50,000 rand so far is growing by the day. The account has been set up to raise funds, enough money to sustain their households without him having to work on weekends until he completed his final matric exam. Let us have a look at that. Beautiful one.
Alright guys, you're gonna make me cry. Open it. Open from the bottom. I mean, I can't do this thing. Come on, you.
No, the top, come on.
Yeah. Come here. Is it now? That would be one more. Lost it. I want you to feel the party. I want you to feel like a family. And then let's also look the part. So we got you the jacket, bro.
Oh man, a beautiful moment. And we must say that kudos to all South Africans that are continuing to donate to Tazrik so that he can, stay home and study, because exams, especially having not been at school for quite some time, it is quite very difficult, I must say, for him right now. So we really, really appreciate all the supports that South Africans, this is the South Africa that we want to see. South Africa full of love, South Africa that is full of caring of one another. This is the country that we all appreciate to be called South Africans. And I'm sure this happens all across the African continent, because this is a spirit of Ubuntu. This is what we are, currently sharing with one another, sharing love and sharing care. It is a very, very beautiful one. As you can see, I'm glowing since this morning, reading all these beautiful stories and sharing them with you. And I'm hoping that you are feeling the same as well. Continuing with our stories, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics released data showing that more than 50% of working women have been rendered jobless and by the COVID-19 pandemic. Women in business and employment have been hardest hit by the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on the economy. However, women in business can now have a sigh of relief after Women Work, in partnership with MasterCard Foundation, launched a program to offer emergency loans and businesses to and business expertise to women entrepreneurs. The loans are aimed at assisting those whose businesses have disproportionately been affected by the pandemic. Public Service, Youth and Gender-Based Cabinet Secretary Professor Margaret Kobia announced that 60% of people who have lost their jobs are women. Kenya will receive about 1.5 billion shillings for the program, and this will facilitate business continuity for the enterprises with less than 10 employees and a turnover below 500,000 shillings. The government has also rolled out programs aimed at lifting women entrepreneurs in the country. Another beautiful story on that one, we must say, that MasterCard is coming in for the women and making sure that they assist them, because, sad enough, women were the hardest hit of COVID-19 in terms of job losses in that country. And I think in many other countries, of course, because we find a lot of women in other retails and stuff like that. So, most of them have lost their jobs. And this time around, they are going to be, finding some rescue in there. And we hope that their businesses could be, resuscitated and back to business. Now it's time for us to take yet another short break. When we're coming back, we've got more news and updates for you right here on Pan African Morning. Stay with us. Welcome back again. If you have just joined us, we welcome you with the right on Pan African Morning, broadcasting live in the Republic of South Africa. Now, we are going to take a look at this story. Of course, the Nigerian electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, have petitions, a Bureau of Public Enterprises seeking to return to privatized power assets to government over what they considered as undue interference in their operations. The latest actions by DISCO is propelled by recent developments, such as the planned forensic audit of the operations of the entity by the directives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, that the banks should commence the collection of tariff targeted at enabling them to recover huge loans granted to them to buy the asset. A top official at the power company said that DISCO has discovered, or rather reported, the situation to the DPE, and many people and institutions have not been fair to DISCOs. Director General of Bureau of the Public Enterprises, Mr. Alex Oko, said that his organization has not received any communication from DISCOs to effect until to this day that they want to relinquish the distribution companies. Minister of Power, Mr. Salem Mama, had said that whereas Nigeria currently generates about 13,000 megawatts of electricity, it transmits about 7,000 to DISCOs, while the distribution companies could only distribute 3,000 megawatts to end users. Nigeria has been having power outages as part of Lagos, especially the suburbs did not have to supply throughout the weekend. These having a negative impact on their economy. Later on, we are going to speak to our correspondents back in Nigeria, Chidi, to get to hear more about this, because we've heard that a whole lot of Nigerians are complaining that they are paying electricity, but they do not receive the services. It still looks as if the issue of electricity, it is a problem of mostly the entire African continent. Everybody is singing the same song. We pay services, but no service that we receive from those power producers. Now, we are going to get onto that story exactly at 7 o'clock. Please to stay with us as we continue with our stories. Well, we're still in Nigeria. Nigerian doctors in state-run hospitals have begun an indefinite strike. According to the doctors, they are striking for the better pay, the end of overcrowding and a lack of personal protective equipment. Union leaders have reported. The industrial action led by the National Association of Resident Doctors, which represents about 40% of doctors, is the latest in the string of protests by medics to hit Africa's most populous nation as it struggles to cap the spread of coronavirus. The doctors say that their demands include life insurance coverage, a pay rise, and payment of unsettled wages. Strike by medics have been common in Nigeria, where the health sector is reported to have been underfunded, while the protest actions followed through a medical miracle has been in place. Conjoined twins, of course, we must look into that story as well. While we are still looking into those Nigerian stories, there has been, of course, a successful, operation that was done on those conjoined twins in Nigeria. A beautiful story to look into there quite very shortly. And now, when we look into another story, of course, running to Egypt. Egypt has begun talks over plans to sell electricity to Europe and Africa. The up-north country has an advantage as it is able to produce cheap renewable energy in a bid to become the regional export hub. The country has a surplus of electricity, according to Chief Executive Officer Aizman Solomon. Egypt could supply Europe via a planned subsea cable to Cyprus and Greece. Electricity exports could be a lucrative earner for Egypt, which is already becoming the natural gas hub after offshore discoveries. The North African nation, which has a capacity of about 50 megawatts, a fifth of that access, has long used gas fired plants and hydropower, and is boosting use of other sources. Around 8.6% of the country's power comes from the renewables and is targeting about 20% by 2022 and more than doubling that by 2035. Egypt's capacity has bolstered in recent years by 3 power plants to co-build of course by Siemens AG, and which is worth about $4 billion US dollars. And the solar park in the South Benban, one of the world's biggest, and the wind farm. The country signed a $30 billion US dollar deal with Russia back in 2017 to build North Africa's first nuclear power plant with a capacity of about 4.8 gigawatts. And now the surplus marks the turnaround from 2018, and when Egypt struggled to meet demand for electricity from its rapidly growing population. A fantastic story to look into there. Of course, looking at how Egypt is slowly but surely becoming the power or the energy hub for the entire African, and of course exporting it to Europe. And then we'll make sure that these Europeans, they don't think that they're better than us. They will be getting these things from us now. How about that? Beautiful story in there that we are looking into. Now it is just exactly at 7 o'clock. It's time for us to take yet another short break. When we're coming back, we've got more news and updates as we are going to go on to that a break. Just before we go into that break, of course, we need to look into some parts of Africa and looking at some parts of the world, of course, giving you some news and updates. And I must share offsite, let's just give you some of the stories that are not even on our bulletin today, that there is a media hub in Australia that was sold. The entire media house sold for $1. And I was like, hey, my daughter, we should have bought 10 of those. Just to add on top of what we have. It's a very, very beautiful story there that we'll look into. Now we can go to a very short break. When we're coming back, we've got more news and updates for you. Stay with us.
China saying that the latest outbreak is under control.
Feel the heat.
The cabinet has decided to ease restrictions on certain other economic activities.
I don't want to be a white person who sits by and does nothing, so that's why I'm here today.
Feel the excitement.
We are here to unite, because what we are fighting for is to stop institutional racism.
Feel the heat with StarSat.
Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Now, I believe that my peace is my most valuable asset.
Absolutely beautiful! This is exactly what I was looking for! DJ Khaled!
It is a day to celebrate.
We're ready for action.
I like it when it's nice and soft. Yeah, that is nice.
How was it like growing up in Nigeria? Yes, sir, you know what it is.
Feeling is there that, you're doing something special.
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
You should just be what you want to be.
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat.
Welcome back again. If you have just joined us, we welcome you with the radio on Pan African Morning, broadcasting live in the Republic of South Africa in Midrand. And if you have just joined us, we welcome you. We are now joined, of course, on the line by our very good brother there in Nigeria, Chidi. But before we get to Chidi, let's just give you the background of this story that we looked into earlier on. Nigerian electricity distributing company, DISCO, has have petitioned the Bureau of Public Enterprises seeking to return to privatized power assets to government over what they considered as undue interference in their operations. The latest action by DISCO is propelled by the recent developments, such as the planned forensic audits of the operations of the entity by the directives of the Central Bank of Nigeria. That banks should commence collection of tariff targeted at enabling them to recover huge loans granted to them to buy the asset. The top official at the power company said that DISCO had reported the situation to the DPE, and many people and the institutions have not been fair to DISCO. Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, Mr. Alex Ako, said that his organization had not received any communication from DISCO to the effect that they want to relinquish with the distribution of companies. Minister of Power, Mr. Saleh Maman, had said that whereas Nigeria is currently generating about 13,000 megawatts of electricity, it transmits only 7,000 to DISCOs. And while the distribution companies could only distribute about 3,000 megawatts to end users, Nigeria has been having power outages as part of Lagos, especially the suburbs, did not have any power supply throughout the weekend, and these having a negative impact to the economy of Nigeria. Now, a very good morning and a warm welcome to Galaxy Universal Network. Chidi, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well. Good morning. How is Johannesburg today?
It is nice and warm. And how is Nigeria? You are in Lagos, right? Chidi, I don't seem to hear you right now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm in Lagos.
Oh, yeah. So we can see that you do have electricity, I must say.
Yeah, yes, I do have electricity. So I live in an estate that self-generates electricity. So we generate our own electricity. We don't depend on the national grid for it.
Yeah. Chidi, let's just, maybe go offline for a second to try and reconnect it back to you, because I'm struggling to hear you. And, the visuals that we have, it is a bit, fuzzy. Let's just take a second to reconnect to you. Is that all right with you?
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you. We are going to take a very short one while we're trying to reconnect with Chidi. Please do stay with us.
Feel the heat.
All right. To make it through this journey alive, you're gonna need someone to teach you the ninja way.
Don't just stand there, kill someone!
Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat.
Welcome back again. If you have just joined us, welcome you. We had a very, very short, unprecedented break, of course, over the issue that we have with our lines. But right now, I think all is good, thanks to our technicians at the back to be able to resolve that problem amicably. Now, Chidi, thank you so much, for being with us. I was still saying that, lucky enough, you've got electricity in Nigeria as we speak right now. I know that in Lagos, in most cases, it's always the buzz of generators everywhere because of the lack of electricity supply. And please do tell us right now, what is the situation, as it seems as if people are complaining, of course, to say that they do pay, they want to pay for electricity, but the supply is not there at all.
Yeah, so Nigeria has been grappling with this situation since forever, to be honest, because of poor infrastructure. Now, the people are willing to pay. The people want to pay because they depend on power supply for their businesses.
Yes.
A huge number of businesses in Nigeria depend on power supply for their businesses. But the power is not there.
Yes.
How can a country of nearly 200 million people be generating as little as 8,000 megawatts of power? It just doesn't add up. So people really want to pay. But the problem actually is not in generation. The problem is in distribution. So you were mentioning the discos and the rest of it. Now, Nigeria has a lot of discos. We have about 5 distribution companies. So you have the Ikeja Distribution Company, you have the Eko Distribution Company, you have the Niger Delta Distribution Company, you have the Eastern Distribution Company, you have the Ibadan Distribution Companies. Now, these distribution companies receive power from the transmission companies, or the companies we call the TCNs. Now, this TCN is run by a company called Manitoba. Manitoba is a company based in Canada, but they are here in Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, they generate the supply and they push it out to the discos to distribute, to sell to end users.
Yeah.
The end users, of course, the masses and the rest of them. Now, the challenge is infrastructure. They don't have the infrastructure to distribute this, distribute what they've received from the TCNs.
Yes.
So that is the challenge is. And secondly, the discos are also complaining that, look, the cost, what they are charging the end users, that's the customers, Nigeria, does not reflect the cost for buying these products, buying light from the TCNs. So they are complaining of cost reflective tariff. They want to, of course, it has been increased. It was increased September 1. And people are protesting. People are unhappy. They are saying, look, we don't have this power and you still want to charge us for it. So it's a catch-22 situation for Nigeria.
Yeah, I was still going to get into that, of course, Chidi, to say that the issue is actually not just the supply of electricity. It's also the fact that the tariffs have been, hiked up at this moment. People do not still have the connections in power, but at the very same time, there is the hike in prices. What is the reason behind this? Because I understand that the federal government, of course, is planning to, put more money. That's about 152 billion nairas, in funding by 2021 towards electricity. Is this money going to be coming from the people, or this is the money that the government has put aside to settle this matter?
So there's something we need to understand here. The discos are private businesses. They are not businesses owned by government.
Yes.
And if they are private businesses, they should be, the government should allow market forces to determine the cost for power supply. But in this case, government has privatized power. Government is regulating power. And government still wants to have authority over how much these schools charge end users.
Yeah.
So it's a problem for the discos. The discos are saying you can't do that.
Yes.
It's affecting our business. It's affecting the cost for distributing this power. And to be honest, I tend to agree with the discos. I don't speak for them, but I tend to agree with them because we live in a society, we live in a time where market forces determine the cost for some of these things.
Yes.
You've sold the infrastructure. Allow the people that have bought these things to now determine how much they want to distribute the power.
Yes, yes. Hi, Chidi.
So that's the yes, I'm too. That's the challenge here.
Yes.
That's the challenge. Government is some sort of, to an extent, twisting these distribution companies to sell, at a very cheap rate, and it's affecting business. It's not. It's painful for us, the end users, of course, but you have to also take into cognizance that this is a business, and that is why some of the discos are complaining. They are saying, "Look, we are not profitable." So several of them are owing banks. Several of them are owing investors. They need to be profitable. So allow them to, set their prices. However, generate as much power in order to transmit to the discos for distribution.
Yes. Now let's look into yet another, a very difficult story in Nigeria of the doctors, of course, now having to, put the tools down to say, you know what, enough is enough. We cannot continue working like this, especially during this time. I mean, also the conditions in which they are working in is part and parcel of the complaints that they have. Of course, also the lack of protective equipment to them, and also working under the difficult conditions, which one of them having not to have access to electricity in hospitals that they are working in. How is the situation right now with the doctors in Nigeria?
So, Sandra, this is quite pitiable. What the health sector of Nigeria looks like. I mean, very, very pitiable, to be honest. Someone said to me the other day, if you want to know how the situation, how bad the situation is, get sick and get admitted in a public hospital.
Yes.
So, how much is the hazard allowance paid to doctors in Nigeria? Shocking, 5,000 naira. How much do doctors earn? Pittance. Now, in Nigeria, you have one doctor to over 300 people based on our population and based on the number of doctors we have. So you now find a situation where doctors are beginning to migrate. They're beginning to leave to go to the UK, Australia, Canada, and of course the US. Because the working conditions in Nigeria is bad. Now, they've been trying to negotiate for the last 2 months, trying to get government to the table to discuss their working conditions, but somehow government has been balking, and that's what the consequence is a strike that you see that have just taken place. Now, let me also let you know that Nigerian government, as it is today, has liquidity issues. So they are in between the devil and the deep blue sea. It's a challenging time for the country, but that clearly also shows that over the years we have neglected an important segment of our society, which is the health sector. And we are paying dearly for it today. Infrastructure's broken down. I mean, you go to the hospital sometimes, you think whether you are in a hospital or you are, somewhere else. So government still has a lot of work to do to build that particular sector of a society. Our rich men, of course, don't even visit the hospitals. They travel out of the country to go and get their checkups and the rest of them because they know how bad it is. Unfortunately, they are doing nothing about it.
Because I was still going to, speak to you about the manner in which a large number of doctors, of course, they were dragged out during that protest. And of course, these guys are doing so much for Nigeria. That is why we find a lot of them leaving the country and of course, having the country not having proper skills. Do you think government has any plans or whatsoever to make sure that all the skilled Nigerians, they come home and practice? And are they having any plans, or they've just taken it as part and parcel of the business to say, you know what, it's still going to stay like that. This is how it has been for as long as they could remember. There are no plans or whatsoever to change the situation in Nigeria. Because I remember when the current President Buhari took over, he was talking quite lengthily before to say he will make sure that he makes the environment so suitable for the Nigerians that are having skills, but they are outside of the country, to make sure that he brings them back home. He will give them a sweet offer. That's what he called. He will give them sweet offers and make environment good. This is not just a matter of doctors. He was talking of engineers. He was talking about a lot of different skills that are outside of Nigeria. His plan was to bring those guys back to Nigeria. How is that plan going so far?
The plan is going south. If you understand what I mean, the plan is going south. You've not created a business-friendly environment, and you want to ask people to come back. Who does that? Right now, the business climate is not friendly. Ease of doing business is still tough. And you have cases of multiple taxation, and you are saying that you want to bring them back. They won't come back. That's why I said that plan is going south. Look, if you compare Nigeria, we try to say, look at Singapore, look at Dubai, and people say, oh, you can't compare both. And I usually say, okay, look at Brazil, look at Indonesia, look at Bangladesh. We're still that are contemporaries with Nigeria in terms of population and size. We are still lagging behind. Nigeria needs to create a business-friendly environment in order to attract these skills back. Let me tell you, when Obasanjo became president in 1999, President Obasanjo did all he could to create a business-friendly environment. And what did that translate to? You had a whole lot of Nigerians coming back from abroad to come and set up businesses here. Let me shock you. So many of them have returned to wherever they came from. Those businesses, many have shut down. The reason being that Nigeria has, over the years, since Obasanjo left power, the business climate has degenerated. It's no longer business friendly. So you have laws issued up and down, laws made arbitrarily that hurt businesses. The other day, a law was passed that hurt Uber, and Uber is struggling. You had another law that was passed the other day, that was made the other day, letter that was written to content providers in Lagos State in particular, asking them to set up whatever they produce, develop here in Lagos State to the government. Who does that? That is not how you build, that's not how you adapt skills back to your country. And Nigeria desperately needs skills to come back to the country in order to develop the place. So it's a huge challenge. Unfortunately, this current administration is not, I'm sorry to say, is not doing enough to build that kind of environment that will attract skills back. In fact, let me tell you, the vision or the goal of most young people in Nigeria now is to get out of Nigeria.
Now, we know that there are international companies, especially that have moved into, of course, Lagos and Abuja, where they now feel that, they have to shut down their businesses for one reason or the other. What is the biggest, issue that these companies are facing, especially some of them are South African businesses that have found another home in Nigeria, and now they are not doing so good. And now they are saying that, of course, they need to shut down their businesses and, downscale their stuff, which they tried to do that before, and it still didn't work. Now it's subsequently leading to the shutting down of those businesses in there. Is it maybe the manner in which the government is treating those businesses, or people have just lost interest in purchasing from those, as a lot of them, they are now maybe growing into supporting local businesses instead?
Okay, so there are several issues responsible for that. Number one issue is that competition has become very stiff. So you have more people going into, for example, the retail side of the business.
Yes.
You have a lot of South African retail businesses here in Nigeria. So you now have a lot of competition. You have stiff competition in that sector. Now, they are not competing based on brands. They're also competing based on price.
Yes.
Pricing has become a major issue for many of them. So they are not able to keep up with competition, so they stop down. That is one. Secondly, you have cases of multiple taxation. I mean, the tax burden that many companies bear in Nigeria, and it's not just South African companies. This is general. It cuts across Nigeria, America, Chinese, whatever companies. The multiple taxation is so much. So that is why you have cases of bribery in order to keep up with doing business in the country and the rest of them. So it's not just South African companies. Multiple taxation, stiff competition, and then shrinking disposable income, which has been caused by the dire economic consequence the country is in. I mean, let me give you one example. Just last month, the country floated the bond, in the UK. Do you know that not one foreigner showed interest in Nigerian bonds? Now our foreign direct investments committed to about $300 million. You can't build an economy like that. So you will see it will affect the entirety of your the masses, of course. So disposable income is shrinking. Middle class, of course, the middle class in Nigeria has been eliminated. We have, like I usually say, we have two kinds of classes now: the very rich and the very poor. There is the middle class has been decimated. So these are part of the challenges that they face. And of course, power has been an issue for many of these businesses. They've been complaining. The cost of doing business in Nigeria is not a joke, to be honest.
Yes.
The cost of doing business is mind-boggling. If you know what many companies pay or spend or expend in doing as cost for doing business in Nigeria, it will shock you. I mean, take a look at our ports. Our port has become a major bottleneck. So you bring in goods into the country, and that goods will stay at the port for God knows when. So those are some of the challenges that are, stifling doing business in Nigeria. It's not just South African companies, but across.
Yes. So what do you think that, we could do, maybe in closing? What do you think that, this Nigerian, because it's a powerhouse in Africa, what can Nigeria do right now as maybe your opinion on the side? What do you think it's best to do in order to at least fix some of these issues that the country is facing?
So, governance is not rocket science. Problems Nigeria is trying to solve are problems that societies have solved, including South Africa has solved. It's not rocket science. Leadership in Nigeria keeps making governance look like rocket science. The great thing that Nigeria needs now is a leader or a leadership that has the political will to begin to do the right things. Number one, we need to sort out Apapa ports. We need to open up the other ports like the Calabar port, the Onne port. We need to dredge the River Niger and clean up that place so that we can decongest Apapa port. We need a leader or leadership that has political will to do that. Secondly, we need to address the question of multiple taxation. Until Nigeria addresses that question of multiple taxation or proliferation of agencies collecting taxes and collecting all kinds of taxes and revenue and like, which affects businesses adversely, because those taxes are passed down to the masses or customers at the end of the day. Now, next thing is that we need to address the issue of power. Let me shock you. A couple of years ago, in the National Assembly, members of the House of Representatives wanted to take the bull by the horn. But you know that the leadership of the National Assembly said on television, you can Google, you can check Google after this conversation. The Speaker of the House, Dimitri Bankole, said we should take into cognizance that generator business is $1 billion business. So you see the challenge Nigeria has. One of the challenges that you have leadership that is also playing in the generator business. So they are importing generators, they are selling generators. So it's difficult to have the political will to solve the power challenge of Nigeria. So Nigeria needs to begin to, we need to start developing. We are not a developing nation. We are joking, we are playing without knowing. And the more we keep doing that, you find talent and skills. You need Nigeria to go to like Canada and the rest of them.
So obviously it means that they had no plan whatsoever into changing the situation in Nigeria based on the fact that they are benefiting on the pain of Nigerians. And as I said in the beginning of our show, that when you go to Lagos, you leave that town, your head is spinning because of the sounds of and the noise that is being created by generators everywhere. And they are not even coming up with the proper solutions, because this could be, damaging to the people's health as well, because all these generators, children are being raised around with this thing. It is polluting the system. It is polluting the areas. And they don't have, they're not looking at the best interest of the people, but of their pockets, probably.
Yes. So like I said, you see, the current situation, like I told someone yesterday, a friend of mine who was talking with me from London yesterday, I said to him, the current situation in Nigeria benefits, a group of people. And so long as it benefits those people, it will be difficult to change the system. It will be very difficult to change the system. I mean, if the system benefits me, I won't criticize the system. I won't talk about the system because it benefits me. I won't make any effort to change the system because it benefits me. So, as long as this system keeps benefiting a certain people, the political elite, it cannot be changed because they would want to keep it this way in order to serve their personal ambitions and appetites.
It's a very sad one there, Chidi. We have come to the end of our conversation. I think we're going to have to catch up with you quite very, very soon again to get to know what's happening in Nigeria. And I must say also, you mentioned earlier on a lighter note, the issue of Uber being frustrated in Nigeria. And I was about to ask, to say, do you think Uber business will be lucrative over Okada? Because Okada is quicker, and it's cheaper. So I don't see Uber surviving Okada there.
Even Okada has not been spared of the onslaught of what I call the economic terrorism of the political elites. So Okada business has been banned in several places.
This is very, very difficult. And for those who do not know what Okada is, are those motorbikes that, they use as transport in Nigeria. Quite very easy and quick one. It's almost the same as Dr. Zweli Mkhize's scooters. It's just that Okadas do not have the birds at the back of it. So it's almost the same. And in closing, Mr. Lenchi, tell me, there's this 10-year-old boy that we are going to talk about that he flies, they said he floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee. He is wicked in boxing. And are we looking to have one more beautiful talent coming from Nigeria, if you are aware of that young man's story in Nigeria?
Yes, I'm aware of the young man's story. As a matter of fact, on Sunday night, I tweeted Eddie Hearn. And I told Eddie Hearn that look at this guy, there's something special. This is a special talent for you to take advantage of. This is another Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn is Anthony Joshua's manager. I tweeted him on Sunday. I tweeted him and tagged him on the video of the young man. Like I said, Nigeria is the nation flowing with abundance of skills, of talent, of all sorts. Unfortunately, we don't have a leadership that is mining this talent for our own good. Very unfortunate.
Yeah. And I'm sure he can donor you as well. Are you afraid of that man? Yeah, I wouldn't try that boy. I know he can moor me to the floor, so I wouldn't even try him. So I wish you good luck in that. So thank you so much, Chidi. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. That was Mr. Chidi Lemchi speaking to us from Nigeria, giving us the updates in the issue of, what's happening in Nigeria. It's been a beautiful one in there. And now moving on, while we are still in Nigeria, a story that we just touched into with Chidi. A 10-year-old boxer has stolen the hearts of thousands of fans, and Sultan Adekoya is a boxing sensation who has displayed great artistry of boxing skills, showing that he has a bright future in a profession. Adekoya has perfect head movements and footwork, which led to Sunday Dare applauding his skills. Here is a video of this young star with his coach Tito. Let's have a look. Now, a very, very beautiful one there. Great talent. And I've been reiterating to say, we've got a lot of people in this office with big muscles. But when it comes to this boy, I think he can move most of them. Really, most of them. We hope that his talent can continue to be nurtured and let us see him, in big stages fighting, maybe at the UFC in the future. There is another most favorite, a boxer for me, who is based in New Zealand. He's actually a boxer. He is actually originally from Nigeria, and we will show you some of of his moves, and because he has moved a lot of people, he has won many battles that he has got himself into. So we are going to take a look at that, and we hope that he can actually get into that speed as well, and hopefully he could meet up into that. Now let's take a very short break. When you're coming back, we've got more stories for you right here on Pan African Morning. Stay with us.
Hello,
The fourth industrial technology era has forcefully changed how every profession has been working for its clients. The world has become smaller than what we used to think. Imagine the ease of talking to a person who is in Australia, China, or Germany while you are in South Africa, as if you're just next door. The ease that globalization and the fourth industrial technology have brought to humanity entail doing business anywhere in the world as long as you have the purpose and the means. It is our expertise as MB Chabangu Incorporated to advise clients immigrating to South Africa on various permits and on opportunities for travelers who intend to sojourn in South Africa for a longer period of time.
Ayé náà ti kéré ju èyí tí a rò lọ. Nítorí náà ìmọ̀ wa ní ìsìlọ̀ àti òfin àgbáyé ṣe wá ní ọ́fíìsì àkókò lórí àwọn ìṣòwò ilé àti ìgbaniláyé láti gba ìwé ìrìnnà fún iṣẹ́ okòwò.
Ho MB Chabangu Incorporated re ba eletsi dinotari le basebedisi le di-office tša rena kua Pretoria, Johannesburg le Bloemfontein. MB Chabangu Incorporated e humanega ga bonolo go bareki ba rena. Go humana tlhagiso leseding ka botlalo re kgopela le re leletša mogala go 012 341 4187 goba le re ngwalele lengwalo tsebile go admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated mo mathata a humanago tharollo.
Feel the heat. Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat.
Alright. To make it through this journey alive, you're gonna need someone to teach you the ninja way.
Don't just stand there, kill someone!
Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat.
China saying that the latest outbreak is under control.
Feel the heat.
The cabinet has decided to ease restrictions on certain other economic activities.
I don't want to be a white person who sits by and does nothing, so that's why I'm here today.
Feel the excitement.
We are here to unite because what we are fighting for is to stop institutional racism.
Feel the heat.
Welcome back again. If you have just joined us, we welcome you. We're still right here on Pan African Morning, broadcasting live in the Republic of South Africa. We must say that we just had a very lengthy conversation with Chidi Lemchi, our correspondent in Nigeria, speaking of the crisis of electricity there and the electricity supply, of course, which is not just an issue that is being faced by Nigeria only. It is the issue that is being faced by South Africa and other African countries. But the good news is that Egypt might be the solution to all these crises that we are all facing. So hopefully it could work out quite very well. We did look into some stories earlier on. Of course, the story of the EFF that has shut down a whole lot of clicks companies earlier on today, or yesterday actually. And they are saying, of course, today it is business as usual. It is continuing. The EFF leader said that if they see, and they must continue until Friday, he said that if they see any clicks open, they must come in and attack, which were the statements, or the statement that it subsequently caused the Democratic Alliance to lay criminal charges against the EFF leader for inciting violence. And on top of that, the EFF said that they do also, the DA said that they want the EFF to be deregistered as a political party from the IEC because they don't seem to be, following the protocols of how the political parties need to, be treating themselves or carrying themselves around. Now, let's have a look at what the DA had to say.
Hi, this is DA Shadow Minister of Police Andrew Whitfield. Today I'm laying charges against Julius Malema and the economic freedom fighters for incitement to commit a crime. We've seen across the country the EFF taking the law into their own hands and acting as vigilantes as they've gone about petrol bombing, burning and destroying the click stores across South Africa. We simply cannot allow people to take the law into their own hands and to allow SAPs to stand by and simply do nothing. So today, when we go to the police station, we're going to be laying charges against the EFF and calling on the South African Police Service to do everything in their power to do their job and their duty, which is to protect the citizens of this country. The EFF are busy destroying private property and destroying the livelihoods of thousands of Clicks employees. The DA says enough is enough.
Yeah, indeed, we can see that it is indeed, a difficult story to look into there. Of course, if you look into, I must say, the EFF must take a stand. But when it comes to violence and fighting of people and stuff like that, it is something that is unacceptable, of course. It's something that I don't think that it should happen. I don't think that it is important that you can solve problems with yet other problems. It makes zero sense totally for me because yes, the Clicks advert is very, very racist and it must be condemned in all ways possible. And I think that the best way to deal with this issue is by not buying from Clicks, frustrate their financial side of it, frustrate their income, and definitely you are going to be doing the best retaliation as much as their advert is concerned. So if you want to retaliate, just don't. We urge all people not to go and buy at Clicks, and of course not to buy the products that are done by Tresome, because another thing that we understand is the fact that there are people that are not shaken by this, and of course which means that their right to choices are being infringed by the EFF if they close down the shops. So don't close the shops, leave the shops open, and just don't buy from them. That's the best way to frustrate them. I think it would be even bigger than just coming in there, shut them down for a couple of days, and then after that you open the shops. They will lose some money, but not all the money. So let the racist people go buy at the racist shops, and those that believe that I'm not going to associate myself with Clicks, then don't go there and don't even buy the Tresome products everywhere else, because they are not just only at Clicks. You can find them at Discam, you can find them in many other supermarkets. Just don't buy their products, and that's the only way that you could retaliate quite very better when it comes to this racism that it's being propelled against the black people. It has been going on for a very long time, and I think the best way to obviously fight it is to switch them financially. They will feel that we have arrived. Now we are going to continue with our news headlines. So just to remind you of some of the stories that we had for you when we started, we checked that the new COVID-19 cases have decreased in South Africa, and we also look into the story of the EFF as they are continuing to shut down Clicks Group's stores that are operating nationally. And the soccer star Thembinkosi Lorch has been arrested, or was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend, and was of course released on a bail. And a young sports star floats like a butterfly, then stings like a bee, just like Muhammad Ali. We hope that he will obviously follow into that suit. Minister of Health, Dr. Zweli Mkhize has announced that there is a steady decline of COVID-19 new cases in South Africa. South Africa has reported 845 new cases, which take up to a total of 639,362 confirmed COVID-19 cases. Sadly, there are still about 115 people that have died due to COVID-related illness that has been reported. And the minister continue to urge the community and the country as a whole to keep following the protocols that are in place to fight the COVID-19 virus. It's a good thing to hear that COVID-19, of course, is declining slowly but surely. It is time for us to take a very short break. When we're coming back, we've got more news and updates for you right here on Pan African Morning. Please do stay with us.